Northrop Grumman Corporation.
NGC and its global competitors and suppliers are in the aerospace and defense industry. They are in the early months of a retrenchment process, given pending cuts in DoD expenditures. Product extensions into the commercial and civil markets, that is, non-military government markets, such as law enforcement, offer new revenue opportunities. Thus, NGC and its competitors are perfecting unmanned aerial systems, for example, NGC's Global Hawk and Fire Scout drones, and cybersecurity systems, for example, protecting computer networks from attacks. In February 2009, Wes Bush, NGC's President and Chief Operating Officer, CEO, described NGC as a diversified security company serving the long-term needs of the DoD and related markets. The DoD's needs include 1. Assure U.S. military dominance, 2. Confront irregular challenges such as terrorism, and 3. Safeguard populations and critical infrastructures. 7. Bush said, "The United States faces a complex and rapidly changing national security environment. Requires the ability to respond to constantly evolving threats, terrorist attacks, regional conflicts and cyber attacks." 8. In January 2010, NGC's board appointed Wes Bush as the president and CEO of NGC. As of November 2010, NGC had revenues of $35 billion, trailing 12 months, of which about 78% were attributable to defense. 9,10 NGC had the fourth largest market share in the aerospace and defense industry behind Lockheed Martin, United States, BAE Systems, United Kingdom, and Boeing. The largest firms in the industry were conglomerates that tended to follow each other's actions, for example, in unmanned aerial systems and cybersecurity systems. NGC had 120,000 employees in 50 states and 25 countries. Its supply chain was global. In December 2010, a prominent advisory service gave NGC an A+ financial rating. Its primary U.S. competitors had A+ or A++ ratings. In October 2010, Bush gave further definition to the scope of the DoD's mandate. The U.S. military had to be able to fight conventionally trained and equipped military adversaries, contend with violent insurgencies and conduct humanitarian operations, for example, in Haiti. In addition, the U.S. military had to be prepared to fight adversaries that had nuclear and biological weapons, ballistic missiles, and space capabilities. Moreover, there was the threat of cyber attack and multiple regional instabilities. Bush concluded saying, "The global commons now include cyberspace, and energy, food and water-rich areas among a world population that grows every year in numbers, desperation, and technological savvy." 11. In October 2010, Bush reviewed the third-quarter calendar results, which were good. He said, "Third-quarter results demonstrate that our focus on sustainable performance improvement, that is, NGC's top policy directive, continues to gain traction across the corporation," emphasis added. Sales were up 4% to $8.7 billion and free cash flow was $817 million, that is, the cash left after the business has paid all of its cash expenses. NGC had also repurchased $180 million of its shares, continuing its share purchase program of nearly $6.8 billion in the last 6 years. NGC was investing in NGC. Its business units included 1. Aerospace systems, for example, manned and unmanned aircraft, spacecraft, high-energy laser systems, microelectronics, etc. Its 2009 revenues were $10.4 billion. 2. Electronic systems, for example, airborne surveillance, aircraft fire control, precision targeting, electronic warfare, air and missile defense, etc. Its 2009 revenues were $7.7 billion. 3. Information systems, for example, intelligence processing, decision support systems, cybersecurity, systems engineering and integration, etc. Its 2009 revenues were $8.6 billion. 4. Shipbuilding, for example, designs, builds, and refuels nuclear-powered aircraft carriers and submarines for the U.S. Navy, etc. Its 2009 revenues were $6.2 billion. 5. Technical services, for example, logistics, infrastructure, sustainment support, training and simulation services, etc. Its 2009 revenues were $2.80 billion. 12. With the exception of shipbuilding, NGC's 4 other business units are involved with other firms and countries in developing the $382 billion F-35 Joint Strike Fighter program. Lockheed Martin is the contractor, NGC is a principal subcontractor. The DoD launched the program in the mid-1990s. The objective is to develop an affordably stealthy multi-role fighter plane for 3 target markets: 1. The F-35A for the U.S. Air Force and its allies; 2. The F-35B short takeoff, vertical landing, for the U.S. Marines and British Royal Navy; and 3. The F-35C carrier-launched version for the U.S. Navy. 13 By January 2010, the consortium had produced 19 F-35s, it was still testing the planes, and the estimated cost per plane ranged from $95 million to $135 million. 14 The program is controversial, but NGC is well positioned to capitalize on its 20% to 25% share of the project revenues in the near future.